I'm licensed to practice law only in the state of Georgia, and thus all of the discussion we're going to have about adoption law and procedure is based solely on Georgia law. The laws of your particular state may vary widely from Georgia. So these informative interviews are not to be used as a substitute for sound legal advice by a qualified adoption attorney, and are not to be construed as creating an attorney-client privilege or relationship solely based on these interviews.
How much does an adoption actually cost?
Well, you're going to hear me say this several times because the cost of an adoption can vary widely. Some DFACS, or Department of Family and Children Services adoptions, are at no cost. Some agency or international adoptions can be as much as $30,000 or more. So the cost depends really on the kind of adoption you're seeking.
Well, how does a young person get a new Social Security number after the adoption?
Well, that's a very good question. It's one I'm asked frequently. Once the adoption is finalized, a new birth certificate is issued. If the child is born in Georgia, then you get a Georgia adoption certificate. If the child is born in another state, you have to go to that state to get a new birth certificate. Only after you get a birth certificate in the new name can you go ahead and change the Social Security number. And if you're in the middle, if you haven't yet received your birth certificate, the IRS has a wonderful place on their website, irs.gov, where people that are in the middle of an adoption can get a temporary ID number for their child so they can claim the child on the taxes.
What does IQWA mean, and should I have to worry about that?
Well, ICWA is what we call it. It's the Indian Child Welfare Act, and that there are some states where that's a matter of great concern. And believe it or not, North Georgia is one of those areas. Everybody in the mountain counties loves to claim Cherokee heritage. And so if you have a child, though, that really truly is eligible for registration in a tribe, or their parents are members of a tribe, then you have to go to the chiefs of the individual tribes and literally ask permission to adopt. That adoption for a non-Native American family to adopt has to be approved by the chief of the tribe.
Is there still a special tax credit for adoption?
Yes, fortunately. It almost got on the chopping block last winter, but there was enough uproar by adoption attorneys who in turn kind of churned up our clients and said, hey, call your congressperson, your senator, whatnot. And it's really a blessing for many folks. The federal adoption tax credit survived. It can be up to $13,000 and change. That's a credit against your taxes owed. It's not a deduction. And the credit is typically spread over 3 taxable years. So, but you'd need to check with your tax professional to make sure that you're qualified. I don't do taxes, so I just do adoptions.